And we're going to continue now with Freek van Welsenis from Hable, who's joining us. Good to have you back on the show, Freek.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. How's it all going then? So Hable One, Hable Easy, you've got plenty of products going on. And of course, lots of people are interested in Hable Easy. How's it all going from your perspective?
I would say it's going really well. It's a really busy time right now. So we just launched Hable Easy, and we're slowly now launching it in more markets. Actually, last week we launched in Japan with a big online event, which was very exciting. So a lot of things are following each other up right now, which is exciting, but it's also sometimes a little bit hard to manage everything at once.
Yeah, I can imagine. And one thing that you've been managing a lot of is feedback, right? Because you've been getting a lot of feedback from me, especially. Can you add this? Can you add that?
It's you can't shut him up, Freek, can you? That's the trouble.
No, but I mean, we really enjoyed it. So we got a lot of feedback. We learned that Hable One users give a lot of feedback, but Hable Easy users are definitely topping them. So we get a lot of feedback, and I would say, I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, at the start of Hable, I gave everyone my personal phone number. And now I'm learning that with the different time zones we're in, I get many calls even during the night of people saying, hey, I have a good idea for the Hable Easy. And I'm like, well, it's 4 a.m. here, so maybe we can leave it for the next day. But no, it's been really good to see so much feedback. And I think we already implemented a lot of it in the last few weeks. So that's also cool to see.
So how has the feedback, well, let's not say feedback, how's the reception been for the Hable Easy? And it must be a fine line to walk, right? Because people want extra features, but then you're sort of encroaching into the Hable One territory, right? It's all about trying to keep it easy.
Yes, this is exactly the hardest part right now with the Hable Easy, is that we have a lot of requests for certain features or certain functionality, but every feature or every function that we add in makes it more complex. That's just the case. So that is the one thing we're struggling with. And so far, the kind of the rule of thumb for us is that we don't add in anything unless it's really, really something you cannot do with any of the other functions. And that's a way that we've kind of used the feedback and implementation of the feedback, and that's working quite well so far. Also, I have to say, in terms of the feedback, we initially thought that the Hable One would be a bigger user group. So the people who use the Hable One would be larger audience. But so far, the Hable Easy is really outperforming the Hable One in kind of this launch period and how many people are using it, and way more groups than we anticipated. So that part is really exciting for me. There's a lot of use cases I never thought of that people are using it for.
Yeah, that's the fun bit, isn't it? It's always learning the ways people are using it, who's using it. And in a sense, I kind of think it would have gone that way, right? Because, you know, it is for a group of people who perhaps are struggling with their smartphones, want to use a smartphone, but just really find it difficult. And, you know, it may not even be a physical mobility thing, right? It could just be fear. We know this, Shaun, right? How many times have we had this conversation where it's, you know, fear that's driven us, you know, not to learn Reaper the audio editor, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fear because it's like, oh, it's dead big and scary and I don't want to go near it.
Even though now touch the wrong thing,
yeah,
right?
And then you realize, actually, okay, the water's okay. We can get in. It's nice.
It's all about an easy introduction into it, though, right? With a blank slate of glass, it's exactly that. It's a blank slate. People sometimes don't know where to start, you know, but with buttons, I don't know, it just seems more familiar, I think.
Yeah, it's also something we've seen. So we work a lot with professionals who do a lot of trainings, like a smartphone training for someone, it's his first time learning voiceover or talkback. And more trainers are using the Hable Easy actually at the start of the program. So normally where you would say, hey, if it's not possible for someone to work with talkback or with the gestures, we'll then switch to the Hable Easy. But now it actually goes the other way around. Say, well, that first step, you lose so much motivation if you struggle with those gestures, and your first 3 hours lessons, you're just doing the double tap over and over. Like after 3 hours, no one wants to do it anymore. So they actually started with the Hable Easy, where people go over the motivation, say actually, oh, I can do this. This is working for me. I can do some basic things. And then later on, they see, hey, maybe we also now try to do it with gestures, or we stay with the Hable Easy, whatever suits best. I think that's a very creative way to kind of get over that initial hurdle of learning to use new technology like the phone.
Yeah, and you're putting your money where your mouth is here, because we're partnering up, right? Hable One, Double Tap, well, Hable, I should say, and Double Tap are teaming up together, and you're offering something rather special to our audience from this week.
Yes, this is very exciting. I'm super happy to finally officially partner up. Of course, I've been a big fan of the show. Sometimes I've always really liked being here, but this time
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Most of the times. Apart from all this deleted episode. No.
Yeah. Apart from those.
No, it's been, I'm really happy to partner up. And what we're doing, can I announce it?
Please.
Okay, so what we're doing is for an entire week, and it's good to mention, Hable, we don't really hardly ever do any discounts or offers. We try to do this only once a year if we ever do this. And this year it's with Double Tap. For an entire week, we're doing 15% off all products from Hable around the world. So wherever you are, 15% off with our special code with Double Tap.
There you go. Hey, now Sean's hearing this for the first time, I think. So Sean, your instant reaction to the news, money could be saved.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just so happy. I just want to know what the code is. How do we get the code?
So the code is, it's very simple. It's double15. You can use it at any of the checkouts, and the code will automatically be applied. And I think there's also links in the show notes and everything, right, Stephen, where people can find more information.
Absolutely. And of course, we keep reminding people to subscribe to our newsletter, and it's really important you do that because that's where all the information will be as well. So it will be in the show notes today, of course, but it will also be available via the newsletter, which launches tomorrow with this special offer in conjunction with Hable as well. I've got to say thank you to you for bringing us this offer, because I think, a lot of our community are intrigued by these devices, and some have already splurged on them. Some will be wishing they'd held on, but that's okay. That's life. That's the way it goes. But ultimately, I think there's a lot of people who are interested in this. And look, I want to say, and it's important to say this, I think, that, we do these partnerships and we love working with companies, but, frankly, I will only work with people who products I've tried and tested and enjoyed, and your product is definitely one of them. I've really enjoyed using it. And especially, in Hable One mode, Sean and I talked, I think a few months ago. It was one of those situations where it was like 9 o'clock at night, and Sean and I were texting each other on our phones using the Hable, remember? And we were using it in Hable. It was Hable One then. And we were texting each other thinking, this is great. How cool is this? And obviously realizing how bad we were at Braille as well at the same time. But, we were figuring it out as we went. And that was the point, right? At that stage. Now, of course, it's getting easier because of Hable Easy. And I must admit, I do prefer living in that mode at the moment. The more I get used to Braille, perhaps I'll switch over. And that's the thing, Sean, isn't it? That's the thing that sticks out with this device, is that you don't have to upgrade to the Pro. You've got it. You can just switch to it.
Yeah, whichever one you've got, you can switch anyway using the software, right? But I think there's just such a need out there for a way to control your smartphone. I think you're absolutely right about it can be just daunting. But the trouble is, a smartphone is just so incredibly useful, right? And you just want a way to access that. And I just think the Hable is a great interface. And with the Hable Easy, it just makes it easier. Yeah, no, absolutely.
The other thing that I kind of keep forgetting about, but is important to say, is that it's iPhone and Android compatible, right? So you can use it on either.
Yes, you can still use it on either phone. Works with every single smartphone, runs iOS or Android, both for the Hable One and the Hable Easy. And another good thing to mention is that we always do this, but it's good to highlight. Using a smartphone is always quite difficult. So with every Hable One or Hable Easy that we send out, you do also have an option to get a free 30-minute training session. So this is with one of the Hable staff members, where you do an online training session to just get you again over that initial hump, or that where we help you explain the initial workings of either of the devices. And I think that's another thing that we don't highlight it often, but we do this with a lot of the new customers. I myself do a lot of these sessions, and I think it's a really good help for someone who's a little bit more new to using a smartphone to get started this way.
What? Yeah. What do you mean you don't highlight it? That's fantastic. Yeah, 30 minutes just to, okay, what do I do with this? I would use that all the time.
Yeah.
So you only get one, though. You only get one.
I know, but I just wish every company would offer that. It's just 30 minutes to get you over that initial shock of, okay, I have no idea where to start. That's an amazing service.
Yeah, and it's for us. So I think people are very happy with this. So I think a lot of the new customers actually take up on this because we can do it at any time in the week. We're really flexible with this, and for us, for Hable also, it's a great learning. For us, it's the way to say, hey, what are the initial problems people face? What are the things we can continuously improve? So there's a win-win in it for us as well, and that's why we always offer this for both products.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
okay, and when are we getting the cane-sized, well, not sized, the cane Hable, as we call it?
The cane Hable?
The cane and
Yes,
Hable.
I want a small Hable One that attaches to the handle of my cane so I can control my phone just using my thumb. So like a D-pad off a game controller. I'm giving you all the specs you need here, Freek. I'll be honest with you. And just
Elon Musk engineering over here.
That would be amazing. So I can control the phone with just a D-pad on the handle of my cane. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, great idea. I think a few weeks we should have it ready for you.
Thank you very much.
There we go. You're not getting 15% off though. Forget that. So double 15, 115. That's the code that you can enter and get that 15% off with our partnership with Hable. And like I say, all the details are available at our website, doubletaponair.com, and on Hable's website as well, right?
Yes, so we made a special page where we kind of explain how this works, how the discount. Well, it works like a discount. There's nothing special. About it, where there's a page where we explain a bit more about both the products, about the partnership, about the discount, about Hable. So there's a whole page dedicated to this with the information.
Fantastic, and we can access that by going to.
I think it's linked in the show notes, or I think on the newsletter itself, because it's the link is called our website /DoubleTapTV.
Okay, cool. Well, definitely check out our newsletter for that. That is a good excuse, if any, because look, I think we're getting into that season where people are starting to get interested. With conventions coming up in the US. We have events happening around the UK and around other parts of the world. Of course, Site City just wrapping up as well. It's a great opportunity for people to get hands-on with tech. Now, talk a little bit, because I think this is always important when you're buying a product online, especially a specialist product. What's the return policy like here? If someone wants to buy it and says after a few weeks or after a month, this isn't for me, I can't get to grips with this, what's the policy there?
Yeah, so it's really simple. So we have a 30-day return policy where there's like a no question asked. So if you say, hey, after 30 days, I'm not really using this, there's a return label in each Hable that's sent out. So if you want to return it, you just ship it back with that label where it's paid for, and you get your money back in full. So that's there for 30 days. Additionally, I have to say, whenever someone reaches out and says, oh, I'm a little bit too late, or it's like after 30 days, normally, we don't want any of the technology to end up on the shelves. If you don't use it, that's really a shame. So we are very flexible with these return policies. Although, of course, there is not that many returns for us, luckily. So I'm quite confident for people who are not sure if that's for them. I would just say try it out. Now is the perfect time. You can always return it if you don't like it. You can, even if you've done your 30-minute session. But it's a great way to just try it out. And likely it will be something for you.
Well, there you go. So Double Tap brings you a little bit of discount with Hable here. So hopefully that's of interest to you. Can't wait to see what the take-up is of that. And of course, we always thank you for coming on. And I just look forward to the future, Freek. I know we're going to be talking lots more about lots of cool things down the line. So let's just keep the conversation going. And maybe we did talk about this, but we're going to get together and do a little bit of a Q&A. So if people have got questions, either about buying before or even, they have the device and they want to ask questions about it, we'll get those questions in and we'll get you on and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, that's great. Looking forward to that.
Brilliant. Freek, come back soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, Freek.
Thank you so much.